Coming up on today's show, the Cowboys are once again running into two critically classic problems. And although there are many things going wrong, and I don't want to make this an excuse for the other stuff that is also going wrong, there's two things we got to talk about today. So first up, a question for you guys. Are you worried right now about the Cowboys? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. There's two things, and the same thing on different sides of the ball, frankly, that the Cowboys keep having issues with. It is a multi-year issue. They cannot run the ball or stop the run when they have to. If the game script is perfect, the defense looks elite. But when mostly against better competition, these two things, an ineffective ground game and an ineffective run defense, continues to cause massive problems for the Dallas Cowboys as an organization. So here's the Cowboys' run offense in loss with a healthy Dak Prescott over the past 3 years, an 18-game sample size. Not an insignificant amount. Or I guess 3.2 years, whatever, including these games. Cowboys averaged 20.5 carries per game in these losses. 84.7 yards per game. A third of a touchdown, so every 3 games they get one. They're averaging 4.12 yards per carry. They have 6 games over 4 yards per carry, so a third of the time. And most importantly, the median yards per carry is 3.5. That one Cardinals game, take it away, it is below 4 yards per carry. In general, despite trying to run the football, despite getting consistent light boxes, as we will get into, Cowboys can't run the football when teams dare them to. And when the Cowboys know teams want to run the football against them, they can't stop it. 32.2 carries per game. Now look, there is correlation, causation issues here. I acknowledge that. But it's a pretty large sample size. 154 yards per game. They're averaging 4.8 yards per carry, a touchdown and a half per game. They've only had 5 games below 4 yards per carry. The median looks pretty damn similar to the mean, 4.6. In most of their losses, Cowboys can't stop the run. And in fact, it's only gotten worse this year. Cowboys are worse against the run and worse at trying to run the football. Now, this is a player issue, it's a coaching issue, and it's a front office issue. Turns out 2 of your biggest flaws that you didn't address at all have not gone very well for you. Go figure. So what do you think is the bigger issue right now for the Cowboys when it comes to the run? The run offense, type in O. The run defense, type in D, especially if the ad comes here on YouTube. 2024 stats, rushing stats here. These are all per next-gen stats. The success rate, 36, 38, 37.5. That's pretty bad as we'll get into. Negative rush yards over expected because you're not making anybody miss after contact. The outside run percentages dropped after week 1, 33.5, 37.5. That in the last 2 weeks, when you've had the worst versions of your ground game, you haven't faced stacked boxes. You're getting light or neutral boxes about 95% of the time. And you can't run the football. You have one of the worst ground games in the NFL. You're 16th in EPA per carry because you haven't lost fumbles and you have some rushing touchdowns. But you're 24th in success rate. It's bad. Now, these are all pre-Monday night, by the way. You're dead last in rush yards over expected per attempt because you are 30th in yards after contact, and you have 3 explosive runs all season, 2 of them by your wide receivers. You're getting light boxes a ton and stat boxes not very often. That includes the week 1 juice numbers. Look at these numbers the last 2 weeks. Light boxes, 71.4%, 50%. You're not seeing stacked boxes. The neutral boxes are available. These are run looks when you go out there as a quarterback. You go, man, we can run the football here. And they kind of stopped trying in the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden the offense had some more success. Also, the offensive line did a better job. But all these numbers mean, all these colorful graphics, Cowboys cannot run the football. Even though, and this has been the case for several years now, teams are daring them. This is not that different Then some of those Rams-Packers playoff losses. The ground game wasn't very good. The Rams ran right down your throat with an old man, C.J. Anderson. Look at the Cowboys' numbers against different versions of boxes. They're averaging 3.7 yards per carry against light boxes when they have an extra man. Number 29 in the NFL. They're 20th in neutral. They're 13th in stacked at 3.3. It's also not very good. But it gets worse relative as you get fewer guys in the boxes. That's bad. Look, there's plenty of blame here. I don't want to make it just about one player or one coach or whatever. The scheme is terrible. They keep just running the ball up the middle and thinking things are going to be different. The blocking has not been done a great job. I also don't think your players fit the scheme very well. Like Zach, Martin, Terrence, they're at their best doing duo. They don't do duo anymore. Why the hell not? There is also a lack of juice at running back. You've got 4 forced missed tackles on the ground this year. 5 forced missed tackles on the ground. Deuce Vaughn has 3. Deuce Vaughn has not had great success on the ground. He's got 20 total yards, 18 after contact. But also, why are you putting Deuce Vaughn right up the middle on inside zone? It's all of it. None of it's good, and these are the results that you get. And we'll talk more about the offense and the defense here. I have some ideas for solutions. They are just ideas. But you can get your own Cowboys. I hope by the way, by doing this, by showing off the turnover chain again, it'll send some good energy and get the Cowboys to have more takeaways on defense this week. That's my goal. Go to chatsports.com/Cowboys chain to get yours today. Some solutions I have. I've kind of mentioned already. Stop the inside zone. Just stop it. It doesn't work. I am frankly blown away that this Dallas Cowboys team has looked at the numbers, has watched the film, and said, you know what? We got to keep doing inside zone. That they really went into this season and went, we don't need to change our scheme. We don't need to do that. How? Doesn't make any sense. It didn't work last year. You got worse with your personnel. Why is it going to be different this season? Just bad coaching. I am at the point where I think you should try Dalvin Cook. My expectations are low. I'm also hoping that because your coaching staff has already said that Dalvin Cook is an outside zone runner, that they'll do more outside zone. And that will probably also get better results out of Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn if you make him active, which you might not. Try things. Also use your wide receivers. You've got 3 explosive plays this season. 1 by Rico Dowdle, 2 of them by CeeDee Lamb. How about you do that? Now, you can also get Devontae Turpin involved, but also don't be stupid. And don't put the orbit motion the same way your reverse is going. That's not misdirection. That's actually telegraphing it. It's again, there's no purpose with this team. And also, you need to use motion on run plays. They don't do enough of it. Here are the numbers. Now, I'm doing out of 28 teams here because 4 teams, as of filming, have not yet had their numbers posted for Monday Night Football. 101 plays with motion. That is 20th out of 28. They are 10th in pass motion. Now, most of that is the back and forth stuff. There's not a lot of motion at the snap, which I think is more valuable because it makes it challenging on your defense, but it kind of helps indicate man versus zone for the passing plays. They do a decent job of pass motion plays. Go figure. Run motion is 25th out of 28 teams. They pass. When there is motion, the Cowboys pass 65.3% of the time. That is a massive tell. Only the Raiders have a higher ratio by like 1 play. And there are tells too. When the receiver just goes back and forth, it's a pass. They're just checking to see if it's man or zone. When the receiver goes out wide, it's a pass. When he stops in line, it is a run. Fullback tight end motion normally means run, or they'll mix in some play action off of it. But it's not good, folks. This is telegraphed. If I can figure this shit out, imagine what opposing NFL teams can do. So here's my next question before we talk more about the defense here. Can the ground game issues be fixed this year? Or is it too little, too late? 1 for yes, 2 for no in the comments. Let's talk defense here. I do think fixing your running game problems is more complicated and frankly more concerning than the defense. I don't have nearly the same level of ideas. But damn, these numbers are concerning. How can they not be? You're dead last in EPA per carry. In fact, this is also what's highly concerning. You can look across the board in the NFL of like EPA play is a good like overall health of the team comment there. The most explosive offenses in football right now, they're just the best offenses. The number one EPA per carry team is the Commanders at plus 0.19. The number one pass EPA per team is the Bills at plus 0.42, the Saints at plus 0.28. So whenever you play the Cowboys run defense, you're a top 3 offense just purely on running the football. That is so bad. Your stuff rate is dead last. You're not making any plays at or behind the line of scrimmage. You're allowing big yards over expected. You're 19th in yards before contact, last in yards after contact. You're number 4 in outside runs allowed. You're also not loading the box or not putting light box in there. You have a stacked box 31% of the time. You got guys in there and you can't stop them. Here are the numbers on that front. 6.5 yards carry against the light box. That's 30th. It's normally higher except for the Cowboys because it's a very favorable run fit. You're pretty even neutral yards per carry or neutral boxes. You are okay there. Stacked boxes, when you got 8 men in the box, you're allowing 5.8 yards per carry. I can't win with this. I'm not going to win more than 4 or 5 games doing this. It has to be fixed. I don't have the offensive personnel talent. There's no offense in the NFL that has the talent to win with a defense that's going to allow 270 yards per game. I can't do that. I can't have success that way. It is, there's differing levels of stuff. There's different cutoffs. That is so far below the level of effectiveness that it ruins everything else about my entire team. It has to be so much better. Hopefully they make some changes. Now, I have some ideas we'll get to here in a little bit, but I don't love my changes, frankly. But when Cowboys news hits, we have you covered. Hit that sub button right now. Here's my solution. And fixes in air quotes here. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like I have good answers on the ground game on offense. I don't have good answers on the ground game on defense. Because there's a lot of things going on here. Then it's not like just a scheme thing. My big concern is, look, keep trying different looks and different players, asking them to do different things. You just might not have the talent here. Your defensive tackles are so bad. Like, Mon Smith has been a huge disappointment for his NFL career, even 18 games he's played. He's your second best defensive tackle by a massive margin. And that is not a compliment. That is a derogatory statement. Like, I am in such dire straits along my defensive tackle room. Like, Linval Joseph can't move. He's even slower than Mon Smith is off the snap right now. Carlos Watkins was not very good, but he didn't get off the ball the same way Jordan Phillips did. Like, I think you can, if you're supposed to say, hey, let's try Micah Parsons at off-ball linebacker. Okay, give it a shot, because you can't keep doing the same stuff, so try things. There is a downside here. Unless you're going to do a bunch of five-man fronts. I think you should try, by the way. Try 5-man fronts and make him a 3-4 outside linebacker. Do it. You lack the defensive end options right now. Because if you're taking Micah Parsons away from defensive end and putting him at off-ball linebacker, who are you playing out there? Are you going to play Tank Lawrence? Yes, that's one. They played Marshawn Neal in 10 snaps. They don't trust him right now. He was bad against the Saints, by the way. That's why they don't trust him. Chauncey Golston doesn't look like an NFL player right now. Tyrus Sweet was a scratch for Carl Lawson, who isn't a great run stopper either. Like, because you didn't address your front four outside of Marshawn Nealand before August, these are the results that you get. It's a bad group. Like, you don't have the talent. Like, I get why they're putting Mike at defensive end. He is the least of your concerns right now. Like, I could try out different linebackers. I am very worried the solution to fixing your run defense is just get new players. And I can't do that effectively at the end of September.